I really enjoy working on more than one thing at once when I'm writing. It's the antidote, in fact, the cure for writer's block, because if I find that I get stuck on a story point or on even the purpose or meaning of the thing that I'm doing, if I step sideways and work on another track, by the time I come back to the first track, somewhere in the back of the mind, things have resolved. So I find it a very fluid and interesting way of working. In fact, I often work on many more than two. In this case, I was working on 6 or 7 things, of which 2 eventually came to the fore. And then, given the realities of the film industry, I didn't know which of those would be able to come to fruition first, but it was this one. Well, we're in their house, Janet and Bill, and we learned very quickly that she works in politics and has just been promoted to being Shadow Minister for Health in a party of opposition, which is unnamed, but it's a party of opposition. And he is an academic who has given up the opportunities, perhaps some opportunities in his working life, in order to support hers. And that with that decision have come some disappointments and some frustrations. But more than that, each of these people, not just those 2, but the others as well, hold secrets and things that have been hidden, which come out in a sequence of revelations and in a somewhat catastrophic way, which all makes it sound rather bleak and rather heavy, but it must be said, this is a comedy wrapped around a tragic element, and very much, and this has been the challenge of this particular film, like walking a tightrope between sort of laughter and oh my God, so that but a lot of it I think is going to be very funny. I hope it is. It was certainly written with how can I put it, a sort of an edge of wit or an awareness of the absurdity of a much human suffering. Part of the starting point was the last film that I made, Ginger and Rosa. There was a climactic scene in it in which all the characters who had previously only been seen on their separate trajectories came together, and there was a kind of confrontation. And it was a very difficult scene to do, and everyone, all the actors and myself, were nervous about doing it. But in the end, it was immensely satisfying, and it gave me the appetite for making an entire film that was, if you like, a form of confrontation, a sort of a cracking open of the illusions that people have about themselves, and in the process, something else emerging, some other notion of truth emerging about people in relation to themselves and in relation to each other, all happening in real time in one place. So the sense of confinement and claustrophobia, in a way, allowing the explosive nature of the revelations to be even more dynamic because of that constraint of time and place. Of course, the party has a double meaning because it is a party, a gathering of people together, but it's also a reflection on the state of politics. So it's the notion of the political party or allegiance or belief, political belief, challenged under extreme conditions, personally extreme conditions in which the image that each person had of themselves and of the state of the world and of the state of their relationship is profoundly challenged. So the starting point was the previous film, but also the starting point was really the state of the nation, because I started writing this when just before the last general election, and it was a reflection on party politics and on political language and the relationship with truth that gets subsumed to the idea of spin or ideas that it's become current in politics that people want to hear and that therefore will help them win. So it was a reflection on what that does to all of our sense of truth, really, in our personal lives as well as our political lives. Well, I take ages casting. I watch hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of work that people have done as I gradually start to imagine the alchemy of the different kinds of combinations. So weeks and months of study, and then meeting people and working with two different casting directors, one in London, one in LA, Irene Lam in London, Heidi Levitt in LA. Incredibly intense discussions for weeks and months on end, and then gradually piecing it together. Once I've started to assemble the people, then I tend to have, in this instance and often do, work individually with each actor long before they meet each other. So I don't think of it so much as rehearsal as a form of deep preparation, and for me to get to know the actor to get to know me, for me to understand the text I've written by beginning to hear it spoken aloud, or to learn the responses of each actor and begin to sense what is going to help them to get to that magic place of going beyond what they've done before. And that for me is a very exciting process, and also to gradually, if you like, bring all these individuals together into one film so that they're not all really in different films, which sometimes happens if there isn't preparation. The sense that this is all one world, one entirely credible world, and that these people exist in it.